once again, Earnhardt leads this race. Last year's winner, Harry Gant, is second, and Bill Elliott runs in fourth.
We've got a little altercation of sorts down on pit road where Tim Richmond is being held for what we are being told was an infraction during the last caution. He ducked onto the pits. Actually, this caution, he ducked onto the pits before we broke for commercial, and he just sped right past the flagman there while he had that little popsicle sign up on the stop side. So now they're holding him one lap, and they'll put him back in the order, and this is coming from NASCAR and Bill Gazaway. Well, they're still talking to him, but if we get a chance, we'll try and get his version of this incident via the two-way radio hookup, Larry.
Well, without a doubt, the old Milwaukee Pontiac was run of the car, running seemingly as a threat to win this race. He ran on the lead lap. He ran with Waltrip, Bonnet, Earnhardt, Elliott, and all those guys, and now he may go 2 laps down because of some pit problems.
You know, we talk a lot about racing the racetrack and how important it is to have patience. The other thing that's so important here at Darlington, more than a lot of other racetracks, is to maintain your composure. When you get rattled by maybe going a lap down, or NASCAR says that you're at the tail end of the lead lap, you've got to make sure. And look at this. He wouldn't even take off. They said go on, and he just stood there and just did a staring session with the guy. But what we were talking about is you can't let that stuff rattle you. You've got to just get on and go to business. And maybe you can get a word with old Tim Richmond there and find out what's actually happening.
Tim, this is Larry Newbert, ESPN. They've been a little rough on you guys with the pit stops today, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. I got a few couple choice words for them. But I don't think I better tell you over there. But they're very choice, and they're very accurate as far as I'm concerned. Thank you.
Well, Tim Richmond giving us some succinct remarks about the situation that perhaps has cost him the second of 2 laps. A guy who looked like he was going to be a threat for the win is apparently out of it now at this point here at the Southern 500. Back in a moment after this. Bonnet becomes yet another victim of the lead lap. Tim Richmond comes in. He was given the black flag, we are told.
Being stopped, they're going to give him, oh, it was a stop and go. It was just to, to dispense that ruling, the consultation flag. He stopped, he went out, and they put the stop sign up once again.
Tim Richmond showing a little bit of frustration with what's going on here. Tim Richmond a little bit concerned over difference of opinion between his crew and NASCAR.
And what we talked about, Larry, is you just can't allow yourself to get rattled here. Richmond, now the report is NASCAR is going to give him the consultation flag once again because he didn't adhere to the rules. There's Barry Dotson conferring with one of the NASCAR officials on pit road, arguing his case, but NASCAR calls the shots. They'll bring him back in, and he'll have to go through the stop and go the way they determine it, not the way he determines it.
Well, Jack, I think there were a couple of infractions on that. It was not a stop and go situation. He did not come to a stop in the pit area. Then he got to the end of pit road. He was given the stop sign and also avoided making that stop there. So Tim Richmond is 2, maybe 3, perhaps as many as 4 laps down, and his chances for the Southern 500 this year are over.
He's been given the black flag twice. Let's see if he pulls into the pits this time, because you're allowed actually 4 laps to acknowledge the black flag, and he stays out once again. There is the crossed flag with the black. Now what that signifies is they are going to next lap drop his scorecard from scoring. They'll just consider him not in the race, a persona non grata. That's the only way they feel they can bring a car in when they refuse to acknowledge the black flag.
Well, Tim Richmond is a fiery type of guy. He's very competitive, and he tries to win every contest, be it a game of cards during a rain delay, or if it's a short track in a modified or on a dirt track, he tries to win. That's the kind of guy he is, and he's had a very good season. Richmond looks like he's going to stay out one more lap, the cross black flag being shown to Tim, and the race is over.
Literally. Let's go to Jerry Punch, who's with the car owner Raymond Meadle in the pits. Maybe we get a clarification. Jerry?
Raymond, can you clarify what's happening with your car with Tim Richmond? What's going on?
Well, the scores got all messed up when they had the initial caution. We come in behind Harry Gant, the 33 car. We went back out. For some reason, they showed us a lap down, and Harry's the leader, and we beat Harry back out of the pit. In the meantime, we was talking to them, and they got fouled up again. So Tim went back around when the caution car came out. They came back in and they penalized him a lap. They told him to stop for a minute. Gasway didn't like the way he stopped, so he had to come back in, stop again. Now he's got to take off again.
Well, Tim Richmond just stopped here in the pit. You see, moving back down pit road, his second stop and go penalty. He didn't stop completely the first time. This time he did stop, so hopefully that'll be all.
But Jack, it's a little scary, to be blunt with you, here at this racetrack, to see a guy go out with nerves and tempers frazzled like that. This racetrack, even when you're cruising around on 130 miles an hour, can be very, very treacherous.
But Larry, rules are rules. Our rules are rules. And when NASCAR says to come in, you should come in. That was my point about maintaining your composure, even if you think you're right. Remember Darrell Waltrip? He stated his case. He complained at Bristol, Tennessee, but then he went on. He didn't let it bother him any further. He raced the rest of the time. That's not been the case with Tim Richmond, and look how much it's cost him.